Hi guys, how are you? Long time no see. I hope you had a great January so far, and I hope a lot of the things that you wanted to achieve are already happening or already started to happen, and you're planting the seed for something else. And I decided to do an extra reading this month for love specifically, because we have the lunar eclipse in Leo on January 21st, and it's a very important eclipse. During this eclipse, a lot of things will come out, a lot of secrets will come out. You'll hear a lot of unexpected news that might take you by surprise, that might make you feel uncomfortable, that might make you feel very anxious. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a guidance during this time. So this reading will cover the period of well, pretty much starting since you watched this video until the end of January. So this is for you, Taurus, and I'll see what comes up. I'll pull about 4 cards and maybe some clarifiers, we'll see, depending on how it goes, and I'll pull some oracle cards as well. So let's see, Taurus. Now, I have to mention, during this time, during this Leo lunar eclipse, which is going to happen on January 21st, it's really important to be patient and really important to kind of, if you have negative thoughts, or if you have, you know, like if you want to just say something on the spur of the moment, just kind of stop yourself and think about it first before you say something, because you might regret it later. So really, you know, kind of be cautious. Okay, so there's a few jumpers already. So we have the 6 of Pentacles and the 10 of Wands. And I'll show them to you. I'm using a very nice, very specific deck, which I really love for like love readings, because the imagery is just gorgeous, specifically for love readings. Okay, so we have 6 of Pentacles and 10 of Wands. Let me pull another one. Oh, I didn't even need to. There's a jumper. And we have the Queen of Chalices, which is Queen of Cups, but in reversed. So here it is. Well, let's see. Let me pull another one. I just want to pull one more, and then we'll go through the message that comes through, Taurus. Okay, and we have the 7 of Wands in reversed, and I'll show you the card. And I hope you can't really see that well, but here it is. Okay, so we'll start with the first 2 jumpers. We have 6 of Pentacles and 10 of Wands. Now, 10 of Wands, in the usual Rider-Waite deck, it's about burdens, it's about heavy loads, it's about, you know, kind of being stressed about when taking on a lot. And when the 6 of Pentacles, it's about having that balance and finding the time to really nurture yourself, but also put effort when need to. When it comes to relationship, especially with this deck in particular, what I feel it's coming through, it's like kind of like, if you look in this image, this lady's in waiting period. It's in a waiting stage for him to come by, but she's aware of it too. So in a way, and then with this one, she's, you know, the passion is so evident. It's like they just can't wait to get to a room. They just have to do it right there and then, you know. So I feel like it's about really, and especially with the lunar eclipse now, with not being impulsive, I think it's one of those things where it's, be careful in a way of like, okay, if you find yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, you're so into somebody, or if you really want to like say something, be careful how you say it, because, you know, like with these 2 people, you know, like they might be ticks in the woods. So, you know, not to like, it's a funny analogy, but yeah, I feel like with this one, it's almost like finding that right balance between like really jumping into something feet first and without really thinking about it, and really taking the time to assess and maybe even plan, because I feel like this is about planning. This is not just so happen. I feel like, and like I said before, she's waiting. She knows that this was happening. It's almost like a playful thing where it's like they role playing, you know, like she's like she's waiting patiently for him and, you know, trying to get in the mood, and then he's just like kind of there to surprise her. So when it comes to love and then relationships in general, this particular half of the month I think it's going to be really important to focus on, you know, finding that right balance between give and take, and then planning and being impulsive and spur of the moment. Because sometimes when it comes to passion, you know, you have to go with it, because once you like too much in your head too, that's also not in your benefit. Now with the other two cards, we have Queen of Chalices, which is Queen of Cups in reversed, with the Seven of Wands in reversed. Now with these images, like with the Queen of Cups, usually it represents, you know, somebody that's very nurturing, somebody that's very, you know, giving and caring. But when it's in reversed, I feel like, and especially if you see in this image, the guy is the one that really takes charge. So I feel like it's important for you to let yourself be nurtured too. And the same thing here with the Seven of Wands. Now because it's in reversed, it's like, you know, it's almost like letting your guard down too, you know, so for you to be able to receive, for you to be able to get some of that attention, and then not always think that you have to work for it. You know, let it come naturally. And if somebody wants to give you a compliment, if somebody wants to, you know, do something nice for you, accept it and then be thankful for it, and just, you know, be grateful for it, because you deserve it. The people did that for you because they wanted to, not because they felt like they have to. So take it as you deserve it, and it's a way of like, people, yeah, I like you. And now also when it comes to love relationships in general, I feel like with all of these four cards, it's going to be really important, like really to find that balance between give and take. And now with the lunar eclipse, and when a lot of things coming out, I think it's going to be really easy to be impulsive in Taurus, as you're not really the ones to keep patient for things to play out. So for you, it's going to be really super important to take a step back and really think before you speak, and think before you act, and really make sure that you think of all the steps involved. If you're planning to leave somebody, or if you're planning to get into any relationship, in a way I kind of want to say go with the flow, but on another way, I think for some of you it's going to be really important to make sure that you thought of all the other steps ahead, like what it entails, and get that ready first before you make the leap. With the new relationships, and specifically before you commit to it, like give it a couple of more dates, give her, like, ask some questions, especially now. That would be really an opportune time to do so, just because people will be more inclined to just say things without, you know, thinking of the consequences. So it'll be in a way a good time to really ask those deep questions of like, oh, you know, how do you feel about this, or how does she feel about this, or you know, whatever might be on your mind. Now let me pull some oracle cards and see what another message might be for you, might be coming through for you. Playfulness. And it says, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So it's like, I feel like it's very telling for me with these two cards. It's like, you know, like you kind of like, yeah, you planned for it, but you also, you like with the Ten of Wands, you actually get to see the benefits of it, like because you planned this like whole role play scene and how it's going to go down, but at the same time allow room for to be surprised, allow room for improvisation, allow room for just getting out of your comfort zone. You know, if it's sexually, if it's romantic, if it's just with your friends, allow room for surprises, allow room to be fun and playful and getting outside of your comfort zone. If somebody asks you to do something this half of the month where you're like, I don't know how I feel about that, I feel like it's going to be important for you to give it a shot, as long as it's going to be safe for you. But give it a shot, because you don't know what you're going to find out about yourself. You know, so you might actually discover something new that you haven't thought of. And with the potential of the lunar eclipse of like finding new things and discovering new things unexpectedly, I think this is going to be really big for you, where you're allowing just to be open, just to be not too much in your head. And like Taurus, you kind of like, you know, being a fire sign, and being an earth being an earth sign, yeah, you tend to plan, you tend to want things right then and now. But this one is kind of like really taking out of your comfort zone, where it's like allowing for something new in your life without it being so structured. You know, don't hold on to an idea so specific and detailed. Allow room for it to expand, because you might have not think of something. So you might have an idea of what you want a relationship to be, or whatever you're going through right now, for it to go in a certain way. But if you were to allow room for the universe to work for you and to guide you to a better place, that might not be exactly how you envisioned it, but at the end of the day, it might be better than you expected. Let me pull just another card. I'm just curious. And very soon, clearly decide what you want so it comes to you now. Now, with this message, I feel like nothing I have to mention during the lunar eclipse, the results of whatever you plant the seed for now, or you've done it for a month or two ago, you'll start seeing the benefits of it now, like with the 10 of Wands specifically. And when it comes to a relationship, it's like your efforts that you put into the relationships, you'll come to see soon. So some of you, I don't see proposals per se right now, but I do see that whatever you're working on or you want it to happen will be accomplished very soon, maybe at the end of the month, maybe in a month, or maybe in 3 months for sure. Now, another thing, like or you might also find or hear news that's going to be really important for you to hear within 5 days before the lunar eclipse or 5 days after. So be on the lookout for that, and be kind of just open your eyes and ears and just be receptive to whatever messages come through from like whatever channels come through. But also at the same time, I feel like it's be patient. So for you, really the message for the next 2 or 3 weeks would be open, be playful, allow yourself room for surprises. Be okay with surprises, and make sure that if it's a bad surprise, or if it's something that you find that you don't like, or you hear something that you don't like, just take it in first before you make a step, or if you take an action on it. So don't react, but think before you make another step. Okay? So I think this is it for you, Tauruses. I hope you have a great lunar eclipse season. I hope you have a great rest of the month, and I'll see you in February. Bye.